Who am I? Girl, today. Yeah, this is Chai, girl. I just put a little hair on. 2022 with a bang. You know I'm at home, and my sister is the wigologist in training. But anyway, I wanted to start off 2022. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope that you are in the best of health and spirit. And what I want to cover in this video is foundation. So I don't know if I'm gonna name this the basic BISH or the 101 foundation, the way that Chai does it. I'm not sure yet. You'll know by the title of the video once I upload it. This video, I wanted to break it down step by step. Foundation, from the skin prep from the concealer, the contour, the bronzer, and that's how I created this look. I am not really focusing on brands. I am not focusing specifically on the product. I am really focusing on the process, a solid routine for creating their foundation. So that's what this video is about. I didn't want to make it too intense, but I wanted to do like a 1 through 10 step process of my skin prep, my massage, and all that good stuff. So if you are interested in seeing, so that's my mama. Yeah, y'all. I was pumped. Forgot to turn on the mic. It's official. I'm a YouTuber now. So we're gonna do it all over again. Starting with step 1, skin prep. So this is my essence / toner. And I am prepping my skin so that my foundation absorbs and is very skin-like. Everybody does their own thing, but I love to use my toner. I do all my skincare, get my skin nice and supple. I press it into my face. I then do this is my eye cream. You'll see I'm going to, some people may do serums. I hear vitamin C is very popular as a brightener, but these are just things to really relax your face muscles, get the blood flow going, you know, creating a healthy, flush, glowy, rejuvenating effect in your skin. Yep, so that's what I'm doing. I did not speed this up because I wanted you to see in real time basically what happens. And I'm not going to talk much about the brands and the products, but every product in here, I've used it before. They're not new to me and they work. So this is a moisturizer. And I'm using this moisturizer as my primer. Yep. Sometimes I use a primer, but the for people who don't know, because a lot of people who are not really familiar with the process, the primer really smooths and creates a canvas for your makeup. They have primers with the effects for blurring, matte, dewy, glowy, different things. So find the primer that works for your skin and your skin type. Yes. Step 2, foundation. Now, I love foundation, y'all. I don't know why. I just love foundation. And people say, well, why do you have so many foundations? Because foundations have different purposes. Like you have that beat to the god foundation and that full coverage, and you just want a skin glow, or you want to look natural, like I woke up like this. You have, sometimes you want to look matte and sometimes you want to look glowy. There's a foundation just like there's a shoe for every occasion. So that's why I like foundations. I usually start with the center of my face, and then I usually blend out from the center. But here I am attempting to provide more coverage in this foundation than I normally do. So I'm really going to build this foundation up more than I usually like. Now, I do not usually go for a full coverage. I like a medium coverage. I do like my freckles to shine through. And if you look at my technique, I'm sort of like buffing and pushing the foundation into my skin. And when you press it into the skin, it gives you more of a skin-like finish, in my opinion. So that's why I'm pressing it. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is it can be very difficult finding a perfect or a complementary shade match with foundation. My key to success was learning my undertone, and my undertone is a neutral peachy tone. So if you are new to selecting foundation, for me, that was the key. Another thing is, when I was newer to foundation, is finding my aesthetic. I would go for super full coverage early on, and I did not like that. So with trial and error, I've learned that I pretty much like medium buildable, skin-like, dewy, glowy foundation. So remember all of those things when you are selecting your foundation, and know which, shade range you run in. For foundation, I usually run medium deep. So here I'm taking a damp sponge and I am pressing my foundation into my skin. Now, if you are going for a fuller coverage, this could actually shear out your foundation. So be very careful with the sponge when you are trying to build coverage. But for me, because I like medium anyway, it's fine. So in this clip, I am attempting to show you how to use foundation as a concealer in areas that need more coverage. So I am taking some, because in this clip, I didn't use a skin-like concealer. The same, like when I say skin-like, similar to my skin shade. And so, so I'm just pressing it in, tapping it with my finger and pressing it in, concentrating on those areas. And you can see that it did provide more coverage. You don't always have to have a concealer. You can actually use your foundation. And some people like to let it sit for a while so it can sort of really thicken up, and then they just barely tap it. So that's what I'm doing here. Okay. Step 3, concealer. So for me, I use concealer for different things. In this clip, I'm using a concealer that is approximately 1.5, 2 shades lighter than my normal skin complexion, and I'm using it to highlight or brighten the areas where I'm placing it. They have concealers that are warmer undertones, like orangey reds, that provide more of a color correction. They have skin concealers that are similar to your same complexion as your skin, and you can use that to do what I did with the foundation and just correct also. or provide more coverage. You can use the concealer with your finger. In all of these steps, you can use your finger, you can use a brush, you can use a sponge. I'm just showing you some of the tools that I usually run to for my foundation routine. And I like concealer because on those days where I don't want to wear makeup, I can just conceal my dark circles or my blemishes and keep it moving. Yeah. Concealer is very similar to foundation. If it's not foundation, it's just thicker, usually thicker, and very powerful. It can be very powerful or concentrated, so just be careful and get familiar with your concealer. Some people like to put the concealer and allow it to sit for a moment, and that will build the coverage also before you blend it out. When I'm not wearing a foundation, I just take a little concealer and I use my finger on some days when I just want to look a little, like I'm refreshed. And yep, I love my sponge. I use brushes and sponges. And I am lightly pressing that into my skin. And if you look around the edges, I am just softening the edges so that you don't see where the the demarcation of the products. And that is the same brush that I use for my foundation, and I am blending those edges as well. Moving along. Step 4, setting powders. So this is a compact powder or pressed powder. There's so many types of powders, cream to powder, loose powder. And I am going to use this powder to set. It's lighter than I would use all over my face. So I'm going to set under my eyes because I want it to be bright. And anywhere that you put cream or liquid, I like to set it. So that's what I'm doing. And setting is when you want your cream products to be set in place so they're not moving around. Some people think that setting will prevent transfer. I'm not really that sure about that because almost every makeup I have, it will transfer. I've just got used to being very careful when I'm wearing makeup. So I am pressing that powder into my skin to set the concealer. Yes. Press, press, press. Now, in my humble opinion, the compact powders are safer and easier, but if you want a real beat look, that loose powder and a damp sponge will snatch you to goodness. That's just my humble opinion. Remember, I'm just YouTube trained, okay? But my go-to usually is a pressed powder. And this is a loose powder. And this powder is similar to my skin complexion. And so I use this more for all over my face. And you can tell a loose powder, a good translucent powder, how it's looking all airy. You can see it floating around. very light. And I love that about this powder. And I like to touch it to see if it's still tacky or if it feels like it's covered. Step 5, bronzer, y'all. And you know I love my bronzer. Now I would normally think that this brush is like really big for bronzer, but it works. This brush works perfectly as long as you use it with a very light hand. The cut of, well, the way that they have structured the bristles is just really pretty, and it really lays down the bronzer nicely. I don't want to say cut because I know they're not cut from the top, they're cut from the bottom, but yeah. It just laid down that bronzer. And when I'm bronzing on the higher points of my face, my forehead, my bony areas where the sun naturally bronzes my skin. So that's what I'm doing here. It was probably raining that day. I was wishing I had some sun. But yeah. That bronzer is a little red in this light, but I was feeling it, y'all. And depending on my mood or the bronzer, sometimes I go ham. So this is like medium ham. You know, I gotta get that forehead, try to make it look smaller. I guess I didn't get enough. And of course, with all of these products that I'm using, like the powders, for example, the bronzers, they have cream bronzers. The only difference is if you use a cream bronzer, I would set it with some kind of translucent powder, or set it with a bronzing powder. This is contour. I'm talking too much. We're on what are we on? Step 7? I believe this is step 7 contour. And this is a cream contour. And I really just did this for the purpose of this base video. And I wanted you to see that that contour is a little cooler in tone. But this is a beautiful formula. But I have to be very careful with contour because I can go ham. And this is one of my favorite brushes. Even though it's full and it's soft, it moves, but it's still a bit dense. I like that you can angle it where it can get into those small places without overwhelming my face. And it's really reasonably priced. So, but again, you know, with brushes, it's a lot of trial and error to find the brushes that you like and work for your aesthetic. But yeah, even with the sponges as well. So don't be afraid to play around and try different types of brushes, different types of you know, hair, whether it's synthetic or natural or whatever the fiber is. And I am placing that to try to make my forehead appear, well, my 5 head appear like a forehead. Yes, I know I have a big old head, y'all. So instead of using a contour powder, I'm just using a translucent powder to set my contour. And it works, y'all. It sure does. And I did not use a whole lot because it's, you know, it's about to be dark. I'm going out with my girls and, you know, I ain't trying to get too snatched. Step 7, blush. So I am hashtag Team Blush. And I'm showing you how you clean off your brush. You can reuse your brushes. Just wipe them off on a microfiber towel and continue on. And I am blush heavy, y'all. But another thing that I want to stress is that depending on the shape of your face or your aesthetic, you may want to place your blush in different areas. You know, again, with trial and error, find out what works for you. They have different techniques that uplift your face and things like that. Step 8, highlighter. Now, I own too much highlighter, and it's something that you don't really need a lot of because it only takes a tad. But this, I'm trying to show you that brush is real flowy, and I believe that is a highlighter brush. And I'm just, doing too much. But if you do this, I'm going to show you how to correct it, and you can actually tone it down more after you place it and you blend it with the brush. You can go in with your sponge and tap, tap, tap and push it into the skin. And you can also take your blush or your foundation brush and go around the edges of that highlighter to soften it and to make it look more like you're glowing from within. Yeah. One thing I love about makeup is you can always correct it. Just go back in with the sponge, that translucent powder, or your brush and just correct it. Step 9. We're almost at the home run. Setting spray. Now this setting spray right here, the nozzle on the first time I filmed it without the mic, it played me, y'all. I had splatters all over. So I took my little 99-cent pump and put it on this setting spray, and I almost took a shower, y'all. But I needed to really set my face and melt that powder into my skin because I love a glowy skin-like finish. So that's what I do. Yeah, but the setting sprays, again, they have setting sprays that are glowy. Oh, let me get finished look. Bye, y'all. I gave you a full, medium to full coverage with this foundation routine. If you don't know, I usually prefer a medium light coverage. But for the purposes of this video, I wanted to show you how you can correct with foundation, how to use concealer to highlight. I even put on a little contour, which I usually only contour my forehead or under my neck because my cheekbones are sort of chiseled, so I really don't try to contour or, you know, really emphasize that. So what do you think? I'm liking it. And on my eyes, I have Mother Pat McGrath. I'll have all the details down below, because this video is not about the products, but it's about my technique. Please do share with someone who may need some help or want some reference. And if you like it, please hit the thumbs up and drop me a comment and tell me, is my routine similar to your routine? If you learned anything new, or if you want to share something new with me. I am just so happy that you tuned in. I thank you for your time. Love yourself, love each other. I am so grateful. 2022, I am going to do all that I can. I'm going to go hard on YouTube. That is what I want to do. I want to provide more information on my channel. I am not a makeup artist. I am not an expert. I am just a 40 fabulous woman who loves makeup. And I've learned on YouTube, so I want to share that with you. So I love you. I'm not going to keep you too long. Please be kind to yourself, love yourself, support each other, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Thank you for tuning in to Heavy on the Chai. Bye.